Jeremy Clarkson, the outspoken host of Clarkson's Farm, has unleashed yet another verbal tirade, this time directed squarely at London's Mayor Sadiq Khan. In his latest blistering column, Clarkson did not hold back, branding the capital as a city in decline, calling it unsafe, and accusing Khan of driving London into the ground with his misguided policies. The 64-year-old TV personality, who has been recovering from a recent health scare, described how his once regular trips to the capital have become a threatening ordeal, and even went as far as to say that London is dying. Clarkson, known for his no-holds-barred opinions, typically splits his time between his sprawling Cotswolds farm and a flat in London. But during his recent trip to the city, he said that for the first time in his life, he felt fearful walking through its streets. A shocking admission for a man who has travelled the world, often taking on dangerous and wild locations. Clarkson described feeling unsafe in the capital's Notting Hill area, a place previously known for its bohemian charm and upscale reputation. Instead of bustling energy and thriving local businesses, Clarkson noted how several shops were boarded up and the stench of weed was pervasive in the air. Clarkson wrote about an unsettling experience on a London tube where he overheard a woman discussing how her flat had been burgled, with the thieves making off with all the family's passports. This came just moments before he saw a Porsche in the streets with its doors missing. "For the first time ever, I felt slightly threatened," Clarkson admitted, before summing up his feelings with a biting conclusion: London is dying. In his furious column for The Sun, Clarkson didn't just blame London's general decline on the people living there. Instead, he directly attacked Sadiq Khan, calling him mad and deranged for what Clarkson sees as gross mismanagement of one of the world's most famous cities. One of Clarkson's key grievances with Khan stems from the mayor's decision to block the construction of a Las Vegas-style Sphere Arena, a futuristic entertainment venue that could have brought in millions of pounds and created hundreds of jobs. Clarkson branded Khan's rejection of the project as foolish, particularly because it was based on concerns over light pollution. Clarkson fumed that Khan's environmental objections were short-sighted, especially in a city renowned for its neon-lit streets and towering skyscrapers. In his column, Clarkson wrote, "The Tories, who were in power at the time, tried to overrule the deranged Mayor of London, but it was too late. The company behind the idea pulled out, saying they didn't want to be a political football." According to Clarkson, the decision means that anyone who wants to experience such a venue will now have to fly to Las Vegas or the UAE, where similar projects have been greenlit. He scoffed at the notion that London is protecting itself from light pollution, while other global cities embrace modern developments that attract tourism and investment. Clarkson's criticism of Sadiq Khan didn't stop there. The former Top Gear presenter has previously blasted Khan's leadership, accusing him of turning London into a socialist nightmare with new traffic regulations, congestion charges, and other policies that Clarkson claims are choking the life out of the city. Earlier this year, Clarkson called one of Khan's traffic schemes a madcap left-wing plot, further accusing the mayor of focusing on politics over practicality. But Clarkson's searing critique of London's decline comes at a time when he himself is dealing with personal health challenges. During a recent vacation, Clarkson began experiencing worrying symptoms, including a tightness in his chest, feelings of clamminess, and pins and needles in his arms. Fearing he might be having a heart attack, Clarkson sought medical attention, only to learn that one of his heart's arteries was completely blocked, with another dangerously close to the same fate. The 64-year-old was rushed to hospital, where doctors inserted stents to open up the blocked arteries, helping him avoid a more serious outcome like bypass surgery. Now recovering back at his diddly-squat farm, Clarkson continues to manage his bustling farming business alongside filming the 4th season of Clarkson's Farm. The Amazon Prime series has become a massive hit, with Clarkson's blend of humour and genuine passion for farming resonating with audiences. But despite his health issues, Clarkson remains as fiery as ever when it comes to criticising the powers that be, especially Sadiq Khan. Beyond the chaos in London, Clarkson's rage extends to another critical issue: the threat facing British farms due to potential changes to inheritance tax laws. As Labour considers scrapping agricultural property relief, APR, a move that would remove a crucial tax exemption for farmers passing down their land to the next generation, farmers across the UK are sounding the alarm. Currently, APR exempts farms from paying a 40% inheritance tax on assets valued over £325,000. This exemption has long been seen as vital for preserving family farms, allowing them to be passed down through generations without being forced to sell land to cover hefty tax bills. James Grindle, a farmer from South Leicestershire, expressed his deep concerns about Labour's potential tax changes, saying, "Scrapping APR would mean the death of my family farm." Like many small farms, Grindle's operates on slim margins, and without APR relief, the financial strain could become unbearable. "It's not just a business, it's a way of life, a legacy. Seeing that wiped out with one tax bill would be devastating," Grindle explained. For him and many others, farming is not just a livelihood, but a deeply rooted tradition passed down through generations. The prospect of Labour's family farm tax has drawn fierce criticism from various farming groups. Tom Bradshaw, the president of the National Farmers Union, NFU, warned that eliminating APR would put many small family farms at risk of collapse. According to Bradshaw, the tax changes would jeopardise succession plans that families have worked on for decades. "This would push many family farms over the edge," Bradshaw said, pointing out that the policy would contradict Labour's supposed commitment to the countryside and food security. Government statistics paint a stark picture. 17% of UK farms failed to make a profit in 2022-23, while 59% made less than £50,000, leaving little financial room to cover the costs of inheritance tax. Without APR, many farmers would be forced to sell land to pay the tax bill, driving more small farms out of business and reducing the UK's capacity for homegrown food production. Labour's inheritance tax proposal, combined with new regulations on tree planting on farmland, has raised alarm bells within rural communities who feel increasingly marginalised by government policies. Prominent figures like Clarkson have not held back in voicing their disapproval of Labour's rural policies. In a previous piece, Clarkson wrote that Labour's approach to farming showed a total ignorance of rural Britain, accusing the party of ignoring the realities of farming life and risking the collapse of the British countryside. "In about 20 years' time, there will be no farmland," Clarkson warned ominously, referencing Labour's potential inheritance tax changes. Clarkson has been one of the most vocal critics of government actions that he believes undermine the farming community. Clarkson's fury at Labour's plans comes as no surprise, given his deep involvement in the farming world. His Amazon series has brought the struggles of farming to a mainstream audience, shining a light on the difficulties faced by rural communities. The looming threat of inheritance tax hikes only adds to these challenges, threatening the very fabric of farming life. As Clarkson continues his recovery and prepares for the release of Clarkson's Farm Season 4, his voice remains a powerful force in the public discourse. Whether it's his blistering critique of Sadiq Khan and the decline of London, or his passionate defence of British farmers, Clarkson's opinions have a way of grabbing headlines and igniting debate. With both urban and rural Britain seemingly at a crossroads, Clarkson is ensuring that his voice and his fury are heard loud and clear.